touch it. What about the non-Muslim? So he said, now they are not bound by our constitution. The moment they read the kalima, they'll also be bound. Until then, they are free. The man shows sincerity, that is his purity. He wants to know. He says, I want to see your burqa. You can't say, no. You see, a man comes to a shop, you want to buy a car. He said, look, if you want to know about the car, you buy the car first. You buy a car or anything. You say, look, you buy it first and then you find out. No. So I want to know what you're selling. Now, these brothers of ours, mostly from Pakistan and India, they are talking like that. So I said, ask them the question. You see, there are 6 million Copts in Egypt. What translation will you give them? Ask them. What translation? Chinese? Zulu? What are you going to give them? The Arabic Quran. The Lebanese Christian, what translation will you give them? Tell me, ask them, what translation? Our Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he wrote those letters to the Emperor of Persia, the Emperor of Constantinople, the King of Egypt, the King of Yemen, and the Nagas of Abyssinia. 5 letters he sent out. Before his demise, 5 letters were sent out. And each and every letter began, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, the first verse of the Quran. In the name of Allah, most gracious, merciful. And right in the middle of the letter to Heraclius, the Emperor of Constantinople, there's another verse of the Quran. I saw it with my own eyes in the Topkapi Museum in Istanbul. Qul, say, Ya Ahlal Kitab, O people of the book, Ta'alaw, come, ila kalimatin sawa'im baynana wa baynakum, that we come to common terms as between us and you. Allah na'budu illallah, that we worship none but Allah, wa la nushrika bihi shay'an, and that we associate no partners with Him, wa la yattakhidha ba'duna ba'dan arbaba min dunillah, and that we do not take from among ourselves lords and patrons other than Allah. Fa in tawallaw faqulu ashhadu bi anna muslimun, but if they turn back, tell them that we are Muslims. We have submitted our wills to the will of God. 2 verses in 1 letter. And when the messenger went, 1 horse, 1 sahaba, and 1 scroll. He was not told that when you go and give this letter, ask the fellow that whether he made ghusl. So go and tell him to make wudu and come. No. He said, give it with all due respect. So this is the example set by our Nabi. He sent out the letters with Allah's kalam. If it was good enough for him, it's good enough for me. If Allah is going to question me, he'll have to question his Rasul. So I'm in good company. You are in good company. You give. I said, look, if Allah is going to choke you up, he'll have to choke up his Rasul. He'll have to do the same thing. He's got to be judged. I said, no. This, what you are talking about is that heart, you see, your responsiveness. You have a clean heart, only you will get the maximum benefit. Otherwise, even Abu Jahl, his reading, his understanding, his listening is doing no good for him. See, he's unclean. Now, and how many baths he had.
Assalamu alaikum. Yes, my brother. First of all, it's an honor to be here. I've listened to many tapes, I've read the books. I'm very, very impressed. My question is this. In talking to Christians and seeing people talk to Christians, they always have certain packed escape routes once they're cornered, once they're thoroughly defeated. One thing they'll say is that it's all a big mystery, nobody can understand it, the reason is not important, but it's something that's totally unbelievable that's merit in believing the unbelievable. Another escape route they'll take is that they had an experience, they talked to Jesus, Jesus talked to them. I was interested in seeing what Jimmy Swagger's response was, because without even knowing what happened, I wasn't there. I knew he was defeated, and sure enough, he said that he had an experience, God talking to him, poured his spirit out. They talked about some other woman who was talking in tongues, some crazy stuff. This is always a movie take. Another popular idea in America is that it doesn't matter what God you believe in, even when it's been proven that Islam is true. As long as you're a good person and you're good inside and do good deeds, you're all right. How do you respond to this?
These are all now, it calls for a series of lectures. What you have now suggested, and these are available on videotape, on cassettes, and in books. You get them and you use them. Everything is covered, inshallah. Then this experience I'm telling, this Swagat thing, get it. Then I had with Robert Douglas had another debate. Get it in Kansas City. You see, get these things. They are entertaining. Wallah, you will enjoy it, the entertainment part of it, as well as the educational part of it. And you will get addicted to it if you are not afraid.
Yes, brother. Just recently, after you had a debate Swagger. Swagger has a program that comes on TV, and he's been giving reference to Islam. He's been mentioning about Muslims on the program, and he had mentioned about the Bible. And he said that the Bible contains so many prophecies that that's the way they verify that this is the word of God and so forth. And he mentioned the Quran. He said the Quran, he doesn't know anything about it having any kind of prophecy whatsoever. At one point is, I would like to know what your response would be if in fact you had debated on that issue. But I'm curious to know what would your response be in that.
You must get the tape again. He made an open apology. He said, look, I had made certain statements in ignorance. I didn't know, and I apologize unconditionally. And he said, I will not repeat the words, just to tell you, some of you might not have heard. But he said, now you repeated the words, his words. He says, I will not repeat the words. True Islamic spirit.
I guess it must have been about 2 years ago now, I made a derogatory statement over television about the Quran. If you were not listening that particular week, I'm never going to tell you what it was.
I have a lot of opportunities to meet with the Christians here and listen to them for Dawa.
Yes.
They understand the Bible wrong and they convince with the argument they give.
Right.
But there comes a stage when they say, well, Jesus came out 3 days after that, and they become a dogma in their mind.
Right.
So after that they give money. After they don't proceed it. They know that the order is there, but after that he is the Messiah.
Right.
And they say people that they don't get.
Right.
How to meet that situation?
No, all this, where you lead him off from there. You see, it's so easy, wallah, it is so easy. If you just know a little bit about his book, you have to master that. Then you quote him from his own book. He says, you know when Jesus returned to that upper room where they had the Last Supper, after his alleged crucifixion, you say, yes, he knows. I said, he comes in and wishes his disciples, Shalom Alaikum, in Hebrew, say Salam Alaikum. I said, his disciples were terrified. Why were they terrified? So his book says they were affrighted because they thought he was a ghost, a spirit, a spook. So I learned to ask, did he look like a spook? They said no. So why should they think the man is a ghost when he doesn't look like a ghost? However, if you know, then I tell them, I say, Jesus tries to prove to them that he is not what they are thinking. So he says, Unzuru ila yadayya wa rijlayya. He says, behold my hands and my feet. Inni ana huwa, that it is I myself. I'm the same fellow man. Damn fools, what are you afraid of him for? So husuli wanzuru, handle me and see. Fa inna ruha laysa lahu lahmun wa izam. For a spirit has no flesh and bones, as you see here. Simple, basic English. I'm asking Dr. Robert Douglas, when the man tells you a spirit has no flesh and bone, he said, I want you to tell your audience that in your language, when you say a spirit has no flesh and bones, it means a spirit has flesh and bones. Tell them, and I will accept it. He couldn't, he did. Look, that means you have to master these little things. And inshallah, you do that.